Our pre-show continues on a Tuesday, brought to you in part by Culligan Water, clear choice. Filter out the bad and taste the good. Culligan Water of Regina. Check him out at culliganregina.com. Breaking news from the Canadian Football League today. Vernon Adams Jr. dealt from the BC Lions to the Calgary Stampeders. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, I'm joining late and just getting word. This is the most significant trade since Gretzky in 1988. Not really, but for you it is. Yeah, I understand. Okay, Sean Hogan joins us. He may or may not know that Regina is the hometown of Jason Hajdu, communications director, College Hockey Inc. Sean is the executive director. We're all a big family. How you doing, Sean?
Absolutely, yeah. Excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Buddy, thank you. We're excited to have you because producer Clark, myself, and Darren, the co-host, are huge junior hockey guys. We've got a lot of friends that have come through the college as well. And we've certainly got Canada's junior A and, frankly, major junior side of the NCAA's decision to now make all junior hockey players eligible, but have never really gotten the U.S. college side. Okay, and that's why we got you here today as the executive director of College Hockey Inc. Please, can you explain how monumental that decision was? What was it, about 6 weeks ago where they made that decision?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the most historic landscape change in college hockey history. Certainly, we've had new teams arrive and teams leave, but we've now opened up a pool of about 1,500 high-end players now available to play NCAA Division I hockey. And that certainly has a lot of ramifications across the board in our sport. The decision was made by the Division I Council, like you said, about 6 weeks ago. Sometimes we're asked, so this rule is only for Division I. CHL players are not eligible for NCAA Division III. The Division I Council really only has power to levy legislation for NCAA Division I. So huge landscape change in a variety of different capacities, but something that we're excited about at college hockey.
You should be. And we got a lot to unpack here. I'm trying to follow it closely, and what I think people need to understand is there's a lot of different perspectives. So I don't know that there's a right or a wrong answer other than to say this is a great thing for colleges, and I think it's a great thing for the players. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I think the big winners in all this are the players for sure. One of the things that we do at College Hockey Inc., we do a variety of things, but one of the things that we do is we're an education organization, and we're out there in front of families and players all over North America, all over Western Canada. And what I picked up on in my 5 years at College Hockey Inc. is that there is a lot of anxiety at the age of like 14, 15, and 16 years old of the high-end hockey player. Prior to this legislation passing, young people had to make a decision at 14 or 15 years old, really that would impact the rest of their lives. What path they were going to take to the NHL. Were they going to play major junior hockey? Were they going to play college hockey? And that caused a lot of anxiety in families. This legislation takes that away. A player can play in the CHL. They can play in the BCHL. They can play in the AJHL. They can play really wherever they want on their road to the NHL. And they can make a decision of when college is right for them. And college hockey certainly has a place on the path as the top of the pyramid on the road to the NHL.
That's where it's multi-sided. I mean, I've worked in major junior 20 years. I've also worked in junior A. My dad was a scout in the NHL for 26 years. I've seen it from all sides. And I got to ask you this, Sean. Somebody said to me, a hockey guy last week, he goes, this is the way it should have always been. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. No, I absolutely agree. I mean, I came up through, I played college hockey at a low level, but I remember when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, this is back in the 90s, people were talking about these players should be eligible for college hockey. And they probably always should have been eligible for college hockey. When they made that legislation in the early 80s, it kind of unintentionally created a two-track system on your road to the highest levels in the world. And now we have a streamed pipeline where players don't have to make a decision, and they can go make their decision at the appropriate timeline, right? They don't have to make a decision at 14 or 15. They can make a decision at 18, 19, or 20 years old if college hockey is right for them.
Well, as the executive director of College Hockey Inc., can you tell me why that legislation was brought? And it doesn't matter then. Why did it happen now? Why did they open the doors? Was it because of NIL that they're like, hey, players are making money anyways, so who cares if they make it in Canada before they get here?
So I think it's a little bit of everything, but what sped up this process again, and you know this has been talked about for as long as any of us can remember. But what sped this up is there's a lot of litigation against the NCAA in the U.S. And the threat of that litigation has sped up this process. So if you were to ask me in August if I thought CHL players would be eligible this year, I would have said we're probably closer than ever. I don't foresee it happening in the immediate future. And then here we are in November, and CHL players are eligible. So what sped it up was litigation in the U.S. court system.
Interesting. So what does this mean for college hockey Division I rosters moving forward? And does Braxton Whitehead of the Regina Pats being the first ever CHL player to commit mean anything to you? Like, is that a benchmark, watermark day, or just another day?
Well, I think when we look back on in history, him being the first CHL eligible player to commit will certainly be a landscape change and mark like you said. But I think overall what this means is essentially there's around 1,500 players in the CHL that are now eligible to be recruited in NCAA Division I. So what we've done is we've greatly increased the supply. And we still have a finite number of NCAA Division I teams. Part of what we do is try to create more NCAA Division I teams. So this is another tool in our tool shed to go out there and try to create more NCAA Division I teams. But I think it makes college hockey better. Perhaps it makes college hockey a little bit more Canadian. There is no import rule in college hockey. There's no roster limit on the number of Canadians you can have. You can have a 100% Canadian team if you want. In fact, 30% of NCAA Division I players, hockey players, are Canadian now. But it certainly elevates the level of play throughout all of NCAA Division I.
Where are you from, Don?
I live in East Lansing, Michigan. From Michigan originally.
Where are you from? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm from East Lansing, Michigan. Originally from Michigan. Coached hockey all over the U.S. As far away as Wyoming and Arizona, but found my way back to Michigan and raising a family here in East Lansing, Michigan, home of Michigan State University.
Yeah. I was trying to identify the accent. I wasn't having a lot of luck. Hacky. Michigan. Got it.
Midwestern accent is what it is.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. And I just want to listen. I could sit here and talk with you all day, but I'm wondering, can you address to the best of your ability this question? Because I had a scout say to me last week. He goes, "This changes the way we scout." Because he goes, "We would go to Brooks to watch Cale Makar, who, as you know, went on to win the Hobie Baker, and I just saw him here the other night. Colorado was here on Saturday." And we never really knew if he was that much better than everybody else in the AJ because he went college. And now that we don't have to worry about that distinction. Does that make sense to you? How would you address that comment?
It absolutely does.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it absolutely changes the way people scout. I think the Tier 2 provincial junior leagues, they'll have to come up with a plan of where they fit in the development path. But now a player like Cale Makar, for example, doesn't have to make a decision. I think Medicine held his rights in the WHL, so he probably goes to Medicine Hat at 16, 17. And when he's ready for college hockey, he makes the step to college hockey on his road to the NHL. So I think that's what changes. Maybe perhaps you're not going as far and wide to a variety of different places. Everybody kind of falls into a pipeline, and you kind of figure out where players fit as they matriculate through that pipeline. But you're right; it absolutely does change the way that people will scout their players.
Hopefully for the scouts, it makes it easier. And lastly, you mentioned the mandate. You brushed on what the mandate of College Hockey Inc. is. Would you mind repeating or telling our audience what it is? They might find it interesting. I'm sure they would.
Yeah, I would say we do three important things. We do a variety of things, but three important things. We're the ones that are out there meeting with NCAA Division I athletic departments, trying to create more Division I hockey opportunities, men's and women's. We're dabbling in Division III, as well as even ACHA, non-varsity hockey. So we're out there trying to grow the college hockey landscape. We do a lot of research at College Hockey Inc. So if you're a player, a parent, an agent, an advisor uses our services, you have questions about how to play NCAA Division I hockey, the age at which things happen, Where do players in your area play that on the road to NCAA Division I? We do that type of research, so we can give you the information that's suitable for where you're from. But really, at our core, we're still that education organization. We're out there educating families interested in NCAA hockey, and the rules and requirements that you need to meet to stay eligible. And one thing to note is we're 100% free 100% of the time. We're not out there trying to be your agent or be your advisor or charging you for this information. Our information is free and available for anybody that's interested.
Well said. And two things have become very clear to me. Number one, why you're the executive director, because you've said it very eloquently. And number two, why Jason Hajdu has included me now on your newsletter, and he's sending me all your information. Because down here in Florida, as a hockey guy, I think we can do some great things. Sean, thanks for coming on today, man, and congrats on this great news.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, man. Sean Hogan, the executive director of College Hockey, Inc. We'll be right back with Overtime, sports update and viewer takeover. We are live on the Game Plus television network, live streaming on YouTube and Facebook today. And, of course, podcasting wherever you enjoy your podcast.
Professional basketball